Hey everybody, and welcome to Super Comic Fun Time. Well, here it is in the dead of winter, and I've got another episode of Something's in the Box for you. I have no idea what episode we're on since there's some I filmed and never showed, so we're just going to call it Something's in the Box. And I'm in a little bit of a hurry, so I've got this question mark here to be my hastily drawn cartoon. I am so sorry about that. So what's everybody been up to? I have not been feeling very good. And so I wanted to do a video yesterday just opening up a box of one of my packs of comics, but I just felt too poor for that. But this was waiting for me when I came home, so I feel a little better. So I've mostly... So anyway, there will be an edit there because somebody butt dialed me. So, yeah, so as I was saying, thanks to Razor Fist, I've been watching a bunch of Deep Space Nine, and I've been enjoying it, and I haven't been reading as much. I still am reading a lot. I'm reading The Inkle right now, which is by Alessandro Jodorowsky, who's one of my favorite filmmakers. He did El Topo, which was one of the first midnight movies. John Lennon liked it a lot. I think he put in money to the Holy Mountain because of it. But yeah, they're very strange. And this book, The Inkle, is based on his idea for Dune. In the 70s, he was going to do Dune, and there was a documentary that came out a couple of years ago called Jodorowsky's Dune. And so the book, I can see where it is related. So anyways, this book is The House of Secrets, and I'm very excited for this. It first showed up last summer in the Amazon search for omnibuses, but originally it was supposed to come out in time for Halloween, but then they redacted it and they put out an even larger version. I can't remember. I think the first time they put it up was about half the size of this. So this is where, if you saw my Swamp Thing video, this is where Swamp Thing originally premiered. And now I love DC horror comics. I didn't read DC superheroes a lot when I was a kid, but I did read their horror comics. They put out some of the best. Marvel didn't really publish horror comics unless it was like, you know, Ghost Rider or Werewolf by Night. So let's go ahead and take the cover off. It looks like it's just a black cover, which I think the Man-Thing was too. So yeah, not much to see there. I have to say, for the Vision, I really like the artwork for that. So yeah, this looks fantastic. Look at that. See, let's go ahead and see if I can get this a little straighter. Sorry I'm in such a haste, but yeah. And I did have like some early Marvel comics, like I got at a secondhand store, Uncanny Tales, which were reprints of stories from the 50s. And the story I remember from there was about a guy who worked at a mill. And so House of Secrets, let's just take a look here. House of Secrets, so yeah, that's just the title. So yeah, I think each one has multiple stories. That's how these magazines worked. Yeah, so there's a lot in here. I'm hoping the one that I read was a House of Secrets. That's the other thing, is I don't necessarily remember. But one of the scariest ones was about this this witch. Oh, this looks interesting. Awesome artwork. So this is probably from the early 70s. Let's go back to here. It probably says, oh, 69, so it goes all the way back to 69. Cover art by Neil Adams for the first one. That is beautiful, beautiful. And look, there's the host, which is Abel, I think. There was Abel and Cain, and one was House of Mystery, and one was House of Secrets. And so, yeah. Cain was always the meaner one, and Abel was kind of it's really like in Alan Moore's run of the Swamp Thing. He has those characters come in, and Abigail has a dream, and she has to choose between the House of Secrets or the House of Mystery, and one you won't be able to remember it, and the other one you will. I can't remember, but it was kind of fun. But yeah, I don't think the story that let's just So like, yeah, a lot of these are, I don't know if this will go to the era that I read. Let's see. So yeah, these are Abel's Fables. So Abel was the host of this book, and so Cain must have been the House of Mystery. I don't know. Oh, so this only goes to 73. So the story I would really like to read again was about this little kid who accidentally killed his family, and then his sister Ash is a witch, but then it turns out that, and so he like figures out how to kill a witch, but it turns out that his sister is really his brother. And yeah, that was like a pretty scary story. That one gave me nightmares. Very few gave me nightmares. There was another one that was a goofy story from the 80s, and it didn't give me nightmares, but the artwork kind of disturbed me. And it was about an Easter bunny, an Easter egg hunt where the bunny ate the children. He dipped them in chocolate, and you know, the demonic bunny, with the artwork for that was just so creepy. So yeah, this will be interesting. It doesn't, you know, it's an anthology series, so other than Abel, we're not going to see anybody. It's probably a House of Mystery is what my mind is telling me. And they did put out an omnibus notice for this, and then it got canceled, and that one hasn't come back yet. So I keep checking every so often. This looks like a fun book, though. I really hoped it would come out in time for Halloween, and I could get a few Halloween shows out of that. That's cool. But that didn't happen. It's coming out in time for Valentine's Day. Go figure. So yeah, I'm reading the Inkle. I did start rereading all of the New 52 Batman. I already read Through the Death of the Family, but I did not get, you know, I started doing the Comic Book Girl 19s, the Watchmen Club, and so I'm reading that. I'm reading 2 chapters of that a week, and then I've been reading the Inkle, because she talks about the Inkle, and I've had those books on my device for a couple of years, but I read the first one, the Black Inkle, and it was really good, and then I go, oh, if I read it all now, and so, but it's been 2 years, so I had to get the move on, and I haven't really read any physical books except for I read Trespasser recently. That one I read the first issue, and it kind of disturbed me. That's Alterna Comics, and it's a really solid story. It just, you know, it just disturbed me. But then when I read the rest of it wasn't as disturbing, and it was pretty good world building. I really like Alterna Comics, and I have still around 10 of those to finish reading. I'm really looking forward to reading Scrimshaw. I think I'll like that one. I just really dig this art, so yeah, this is going to be a fun book to read. Do you like horror comics? Now, I don't like a lot of the more graphic ones that come out today. I like a lot left to the imagination, because my imagination is more scary. And I don't necessarily like gross stuff. Like, I like what's his name? Herschel Gordon Lewis? The guy who did like Blood Feast and those really cheesy gore movies, and like they're so fake that it's funny to me. And what was the one, The Body Shop or something like that, that his effects maker did, and that, you know, they're just so stupid and fun, and you know, they just were guys trying to make a quick buck, but there's just also something to them too. There's like, it's not like a bad Star Wars movie, because you expect better from Star Wars. So I guess that's it. It's just the stories. There isn't any additional artwork or sketches in here. Was there any sort of introduction to this one? I don't think so. This is all just like, you know. Well, of course, Len Wein died back in October. Oh no, there's a foreword. Who wrote the foreword? Dan Didio. So that should be interesting. You know, he wrote it for this edition. See, originally it was supposed to come out in 2017. I'm not sure what held it up. Forever the 11-year-old. So he just came up. I've also got the audio version of the Marvel DC history, and he just sort of entered the picture there. So I think I'm going to go ahead and draw it to a close. This just looks like a lot of fun. You know, I'm I might read Dan Didio's foreword. A lot of times I don't because spoilers, but in an anthology like this, I think it might be okay to risk spoilers, and if I see any, I'll just put it aside. But yeah, look at that. This is what I originally wanted to do for my hastily drawn cartoon, is a house or something like that with like little question marks coming out of the chimney, but I don't have very much time to do this, and then I still have to edit it tonight. You know, as poor as my editing skills are. Anyways, thank you for hanging out with me for these few moments. And yeah, I was going to ask you, what's your favorite horror comic? Do you prefer the modern ones like 30 Days of Night? I've been tempted because I did like that movie, but it also looks really bloody when I look at the cover. And you know, I don't necessarily like to be grossed out. I like to be scared. Yeah, what was it? Trespasser didn't really scare me. Croak kind of scared me when I read that from Alterna Comics. So hopefully some of these will be scary and they won't all be too cheesy. That was the other problem with horror comics back in the 70s, is a lot of them were just cheesy, or you know, they just weren't scary. So hopefully and I don't want them all to be scary. I just want like one or two gems, like that witch story that I told you about, or just something creepy like the bunny rabbit that is just unsettling. So look at, I like this art too. So yeah, this is like, yeah, it looks cool. Doesn't it look cool? So I have to buckle down. I have to get over this cold, and I have to get some heavy duty reading in. So, oh yeah, here's the Swamp Thing, which I showed you when I did the Swamp Thing Omnibus unveiling. That was the first story in there. So hopefully, now there is also a problem, I guess, with, I don't know if it's Marvel has as big a problem, but there are issues with misprints in DC books. So we'll find out if there's anything wrong with this one, and I'll do a video about it if I find out. I'm sure somebody will find out before me because I'm not a fast reader. Okay, love you guys. Remember to hit the like button, comment down below, tell me your favorite horror stories. Also, like non-DC scary ones. I do remember this guy was going to a psychiatrist because he had these dreams and they came true, but then it turned out he liked it coming true because he was kind of a Walter Mitty person in real life, and his dreams would go and kill all the bullies in his life. But that was a pretty scary one too, and it wasn't a DC book. I can't remember if it was a Golden Key, if they put out anything like that, but it was like one of those I got for Christmas that was like a 5-pack. But I really did enjoy those too. I sometimes wish I still had my old collection. So anyways, yep, thumbs up, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.